Hey guys, this is Joe from the US, and today I have with me two tank commanders, one from the United States and one from North Korea. We're going to be discussing three different weapons, so let's get started with the first, the M1 Abrams. Chad, you've actually commanded one of these and been in that exact spot.
Yeah.
What's it like when you get in there and you're sitting there?
It's I tell people that everything inside that tank is designed to kill. Mm-hmm. And not just the enemy. It's just everything in there is designed to kill anything. And so like there's a reason that we're wearing a helmet and we have all this protective gear, like you can see in the video that he's wearing like his body armor and everything too, is because everything in there, almost everything in there, is made out of metal, pointy metal that like as you're driving around and just like banging around in there, like you're gonna get smacked around a little bit just by driving, like let alone the weapons. And so it's kind of cramped, right? It maybe like this perspective seems like, oh, it doesn't seem so bad. Not really. Like climbing in and out of the tank, it's sort of like you're sort of weaving in and out to sort of get into your spot. And it's even worse for the gunner. If you look sort of below what looks like computer screens, that's the gunner down there. So like in this tiny little hole right in front of you is where the gunner is sitting. And so like it's even worse for him because like, I mean, he's just like sitting in this like tiny little alcove, like trying to do his thing. So for me as the tank commander, it's like a little bit better because where we're seeing the camera angle from is where the loader is going to be standing, and so there is a little bit more room. But I think in the video you see the main gun go off and you see this, just the big cannon like fly back like this. Yeah, you see it recoil, and that's where you have to be really careful because if you see in the video there's this sort of like metal slat going up that is designed for me to not get hit. Because so many people like let their leg just like hang out like while they're sitting in their chair, and then when the gun comes back, it's going to smack you right in the leg. It's going to break your leg. There is like safety equipment, but it's all made of metal, and so either way, like you're just like banging around in there.
Gotcha.
But I mean, yeah, this is exactly what it looked like for me. Like down to everything. I mean, I see literally like keyboards. I see a bottle of Gatorade in there. Like all of this is like, yep, that's exactly what it looked like. I don't know what model tank this is. It doesn't really matter. There's not that much variation. Sure. But I mean, yeah, that was me. Oh. That was me. He turned and I saw his face. I'm like, oh, it's not me. But everything else, yeah.
You have sitting right next to you an American M1 tank commander. I'm curious what kind of questions you would have.
우선 이제 그 말씀하는 거 보니까 안에서 기동할 때 이 안에 그 자체가 전차장에 앉아 있는데 되게 넓네요, 공간이. 아, 그게 노스코리아 탱크, 천마우 탱크 안에 들어가서 그 친구가 들어가 앉아 있었으면 좁아. 딱 안전띠 딱 매면 손잡이 딱 잡으면 돌 데가 없어요. 네. 그리고 이 유쿠로 빙 돌리잖아, 이렇게. 그죠. 근데 여기는 감시경이 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯 쭉 다 감시경.
그 약간 창문 같은 거. 네. 뭐 그거 있긴 해요.
네. 근데 그게 북한 탱크는 4개밖에 없어. 네. 그러니까 얘를 유쿠로 돌려야 돼. 뒤로 보려면. 예? 이건 봐봐. 앞에 조준경도 있고. 그러고 제일 중요한 게 뭐냐? 우린 탱크 탈 때 전차장이 스패너를 주머니다가 넣고 가. 그리고 조종사가 운전 잘못하면 덜컹 하는 거야. 이 머리 팍 치면 스패너 꺼내서 딱 던져. 그 조종사 왜 그래요?
제대로 하려면 운전해.
야, 이 새끼야, 바로 운전하라. 그러는 거야. 근데 이거는 모니터링이 앞에 있으니까 어떤 생각이 드는가 하면 북한 전차는 무선기에 의지해요. 그러니까 여단장이 무쇠 542호 하면 알았다. 운전수 속도 늦춰. 조준수 절갑탄 장탄 이렇게 하는데 얘는 모니터링이 다 있으니까 혼자 보고 판단할 수 있는 거예요. 완전히 이거는 작전 안에 보니까 조준경 다 있고 해서 또 뭐냐면 저게 조준수가 제대로 목표를 못 찾았을 때 전차장이 찾죠. 오케이. 저걸 보고 전차장이 목표 찾아 조준수 보라. 에? 그 조준수가 못 쏘면 전차장이 발사할 수 있게끔 다 돼 있는데, 야 안에 공간이 너무 좋네.
아니 그러게 되니까 보이는데 생각보다는 막 좀 좁아요.
좁아도
좁아 아니 그쵸. 아마
저마보다는
제 생각에는 약간 좁지만 아마 뭐 다른 입장에서는 엄청 넓네요. 아니니까 부럽습니다. 뭐 그런
근데
생각이
왜
있을
그렇게
수 있죠.
하는가 하면 천마호 전차하고 미국 엠브란스 이렇게 놓으면은 사이즈가 그 외형 사이즈가 그래서 사이즈가 그 미국 전차가 크잖아요. 그리고 포탑이 커. 포탑 휙 휘두를 때 전차장 다 거기 포탑이 붙어 있잖아요. 그 휙 휘두르면 걸리는 게 없어. 그래서 좋을 것 같아. 아니. 직접 이 전차병하고 전차병하고 이래 앉아서 이게 저게 벌둥지인데 저가탄이네. 저 앞에 보니까 와 좋아.
Over 4 decades later, the Abrams has evolved and continues to be the workhorse for the United States Army. Part of the Abrams starts directly in front with the M256 120mm cannon, designed to destroy enemy targets at distances of up to 3 miles. It can fire high-speed, armor-piercing rounds to punch through enemy tanks, explosive rounds for fortified positions, and canister rounds that turn this turret into a giant shotgun at close range. Mounted next to the main cannon is a 7.62mm machine gun, known as the coaxial. It's aimed using the same sight as the main cannon and is designed for lighter targets like infantry or unarmored vehicles. When the target doesn't justify an 120mm round, the coax does the job. On top of the turret is another 7.62mm machine gun, manually controlled by the loader and provides close-range protection around the tank. And finally, mounted at the tank commander's station is the 50 caliber heavy machine gun. It's capable of engaging enemies at distances over 1,800 meters.
하나는 자동이고 하나는 그 로더 수동으로 그냥
just figure it out. A good loader is closer to 5, and that includes opening and closing the ammo door, arming the gun, getting in the breech, making sure the breech goes up, and getting out of the way. I've had a lot of practice, so I don't want to brag, but yeah, I'm all right.
So one of the things you'll hear me say in the fire commands is,
On the way!
essentially what that means to the crew is that I'm about to pull triggers and this big old gun behind me is about to go off.
It's definitely cozy. There's a little bit more room than I thought, to be honest, but definitely a tight fit for the crew. Now the smell, it's interesting. It's a mix of like a mechanic's garage and definitely a little bit of gym locker room, but not too bad overall. Now I think one of the coolest things when you're actually driving this tank is that they keep the hatches open most of the time, so you can pop your head out and scan the area.
The tank is exposed and the clock starts running. To pass, the target needs to be destroyed in under 25 seconds. Miss that window, the target drops and your score is 0. Every crew gets a single 120mm round per target and up to 50 rounds of coaxial. Our close-range targets will be at distances of 450 and 850 meters with the 7.62 coaxial. And for long range, we'll be firing the 120mm cannon at 1,300 meters before our final shot at a target all the way out at 2,000 meters. But seeing the target is only part of the equation. The fire control system is constantly calculating distance, wind, temperature, even the movement of the target itself. By the time the gunner pulls the trigger, the computer has already done the math, and the crew's job is to be fast enough to keep up.
So when you're firing and targeting, is it pretty much all the tank and the technology, or is there a lot of instinct by you guys?
It's 100% all the tank. It just tells us what to do.
철 있잖아요. 그거를 가는 거. 예. 그리고 아니면 그 흰색 거 그 아래. 그것도 진짜 약간 방하는 거예요. 그러니까 좀 약간 조심 할 수 있게, 조심 운영할 수 있게.
이제 내부를 보니까 너무 차이 많아. 그냥 뭐 아주 저걸 알지도 못하면 정신력 하나 가지고 버텼지. 이거 내부 보면은 답이 나왔어요. 답이 나왔잖아 이거.
For the gunner and for the tank commander too. The tank commander and the gunner sort of have this. They have the same sight. So one of those computer screens you can change to do your own thing, or to see the same thing that the gunner is seeing. And so as the tank commander, you can sort of like take control of the gun yourself and do everything. Like if your gunner is hit or whatever, something happened down there, you can take control of the gun yourself. You don't have to like pull this guy out, send somebody else down there. No. The tank commander can just take control himself and do everything from there. And there is a sort of, how can I say this? It's sort of like a laser. And so we say lays the target, And when you laze the target, it sends a laser out and it bounces back at you and tells you how far away the target is. Yeah. And so based on that distance, the tank, all the computer systems and everything, they'll do the calculation of, okay, how high does the gun need to be, or like what needs to be done in order for the trajectory to be right to hit the target. This matters for a lot of different things though. So they mentioned the Sabot round there, and that'll be used for tanks and other armored vehicles. And that thing is gonna fly. Like, that thing is super fast. And sort of the impact is going to be different as well. But there are different rounds. And so you sort of put that in as well, because the calculation is going to be different based on how fast the round is flying. And so if you say Sabot for the round, but you're shooting at something with like a heat round, or they talked about the canister round, it's not going to hit the same way because the calculation is off. It's trying to calculate this distance, but it's the wrong round or whatever. And so it's not going to hit correctly. But yeah, there is a way for the computer. The computer does all the calculations yourself. All you got to do is make sure you like laze the target, because if you don't, it's going to be going based on like the previous lazed distance, and then of course it's not going to hit.
탱크를 타면 한 몇 년을 복무할 수 있나요? 몇 년을?
잘 되면 2년? 2년 반? 그러니까 할 수 있을 것 같아요. 그러니까 소대장으로 1년쯤 그러니까 하고 나서 그 다음에 뭐 대장으로 될 수 있으면.
미군 전차나 이거 보면 다 디지털화가 됐기 때문에 그 승무원들이 그 뭐 합동 작전이라는 그것보다도 과학적으로 다 분석해 주니까, 북한처럼, 물론 북한도 지금은 그렇다 그래요. 앞에 좀 뭐 디지털화도 돼 있고 하는데, 북한이 요구하는 거는 단합. 그러니까 지휘관부터 병사까지 하나 체계, 이걸 요구하기 때문에 절대로 저렇게 그걸 허용 안 하거든. 아무리 네 좋은 목표라도 네가 혼자 했다 할 땐 그건 처벌감이에요. 예, 무조건 지휘관 해라는 대로 그 하게끔 훈련이 돼 있어서 그것과 차이도 좀 대단한 것 같아. 이런 걸 놓고 보면 그 미군하고 북한군이 마주칠 뭐 그럴 건 뭐 많지는 않겠지만, 마주친다고 하면은 그 차이점이 확실하게 드러나네. 예, 그거에 대해서 오늘 많이 배웠어요.
그러면 이렇게 성능이 좀 많은 탱크 실전에서 많았을 때 어떻게 하셨을 것 같아요?
야, 물론 그래도 싸워봐야 되겠죠. 그래도 싸워봐야죠. 조선 싸움을 해봐야 된다고 한번 부딪혀보. 일단 뭐 그냥 앉아 죽는 것보다 전장에 나가 싸우다 죽자, 이런 생각이니까, 뭐 내가 신심이 생겨서 싸우는 것도 아니고 내가 겁이 난다 해서 그만둘 것도 아니에요. 무조건 나가서 죽어라 이거기 때문에 나갈 거예요. 나갔다가 뭐 이런 정도면은 벌써 내가 찾기 전에, 우리 뭐 북한에 미국이 떴는데 랩터 20이 떴는데, 랩터는 봤어 야를. 근데 얘는 랩터를 못 봤어. 그러니까 우리 F-35, F-22가 얘를 먼저 봤으니까 아무래도 발사할 거 아니에요. 얘는 보기 전에 죽는 거야. 탱크도 같지. 나갔는데 이 화면 디지털에 다 보잖아요. 지금 어디서 우릉우릉 소음 다 들어오고, 오케이. 전차장이니까. 그러면 장탄수, 조준수, 방위목표 매치 쭉 포신, 전수 못 찾으면 휙 돌려놓잖아. 장탄수 보고 저기 탱크면은 철갑탄, 아니면 장갑 차면 파편 지뢰유탄 지시할 거예요. 이거는 북한 탱크는 모르고 오다가 야간 뭐 그냥 바로 갈기면 그냥 피토하고 안에서 뭐 죽는 수밖에 없지 뭐. 이런 거 보면은 이거 저 북한에 보냈으면은 북한 탱크병들이 난 탱크병 안 하겠다고 다 그저 보병하겠다 할 거야. 보병하겠다. 너무 차이 심해.
The M1 is considered like the best tank in the world, is my understanding. What about it do you think makes such a big difference as someone who's experienced it?
Ooh, I mean, there's been upgrades over the years, and so I know that in the video they mentioned that there's like so many guns on this thing, right? There's the main gun, and then there's that coax, the 240 that they have next to it is just tied to the main gun, right? It's going to be the same thing. But then they have a second 240 that the loader will just manually shoot, like he'll manually maneuver that. But then there's that 50 cal on the top as well. And originally, right, this was just the tank commander would just pop up out of the hatch and manually take control of that gun and shoot that. But now, and I experienced this as well, there's a system that just automatically does it for you.
Oh, wow.
And so, right? The tank commander, if it works correctly, right? The tank commander can just stay in his seat, right? You got one joystick basically for the main gun and another one for this 50 cal.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this is something where there's just these like tiny updates that they get, whether it's a computer system or an automation system or whatever. But I think it was just so well designed and well made. And of course, it comes with updates on like armor and all these things, like the different materials they use to create the armor so that it's not as exposed or not as vulnerable. But I think the design, they're like, no, base design is good. We just need to like make tweaks here and there for whatever needs to be done. But I mean, until now, and there's some, it's the best in the world. People say it's the best in the world. There are definitely some competitors, as far as I know. When I was still in the military, we definitely learned about certain tanks where it was kind of like, this one might be a problem, and maybe not because it's too well armored or the gun is too strong, but more for like what I was talking about earlier with like the laser, right? If you laze the target, it's going to give you your distance back, right? But I guess now there's some sorts of like technology where it'll scramble the reading for the
almost
distance.
like stealth for a tank.
Kind of, yeah, where it's like, even if you laze the target, it should give you the proper distance, but there's some sort of technology on that enemy tank or whatever that's going to like purposely give back an incorrect distance. And so when you try to shoot it, it's going to miss because it's not the proper distance. And so it's these sorts of things where that's a software thing. That's not really a hardware thing, but this is sort of the age I think we're at where it's like the hardware is fine. It's the software and these like technological updates that sort of keep it ahead.
Okay, fascinating. Well, now we're going to dive into the Javelin to see more comparisons here.
Need to blow up a tank from afar? The Javelin missile is one of the most terrifying weapons. It's about 3.5 feet long, has a diameter of 5 inches, and weighs around 22 kilograms with the launcher. It can destroy a tank up to 5 kilometers away. Its infrared sensor locks onto the enemy's heat signature. Then the missile climbs and strikes from above. The first charge pierces the weak top armor, and then the main charge goes deep inside and destroys everything within.
So while you were in the Army, your crew would have probably worked at least alongside or been aware of the people who had the crews who had the Javelin.
Okay.
Did you ever see it used?
I don't know. I saw Javelins for sure, like or sometimes we call them like tow missiles, like TOW. But I never shot one. I don't think I personally never shot one. I'm not even sure I ever saw one fired in person. And so like watching this video just now, I had seen videos before, but I think seeing a video like this is the most that I'd ever seen of a Javelin or tow missile being fired. But we were, of course, aware of the danger of things like Javelins and RPGs.
So you did have training on kind of how to deal with these?
Well,
can you deal with them? That's my honest question. It doesn't sound like you can.
I was just about to say, and in the other video, the guy was talking about, they just like roll around with the hatches open and everything. And this video is like, the Javelin's just going to come in from above and it's going to pierce that armor on the top, and then the rest of it is going to make the tank explode. I'm like, unless they have the hatch open, and then everybody's just going to like immediately die no matter what. Like, it doesn't really matter if the hatches are open. And so, as an armored unit, your worst nightmare was two things. There were helicopters, really hate helicopters, and indirect fire. And so the Javelin, of course, would be like indirect fire. It would just be like any other kind of artillery. And so always hate that because you can't really respond to that. Like, what do you mean, shoot the Javelin out of the sky? Like, of course not. And so this was something where in your brief, you would really, they have this capability. How are we going to deal with it? Okay, well, we're going to have hatches closed. First of all, we're not going to be rolling around with the hatches open. But otherwise, it was all about identification, identifying enemy. And so I know it said that like, Javelin can be shot from 5 kilometers away. Okay, a tank can also see that far away, and it's got like the heat signatures and everything, and you can see. You might not be able to identify that they've got a Javelin, but you can at least see that there's something out there. And of course, you're always going to be trying to move in cover also. You're not going to be just like rolling around on the top of a mountain just waiting to get shot, right? And so all of these things together, you just did your best to like mitigate the danger of having things like this, like indirect fire.
I guess my question here is, have you ever trained to counter one of these weapons?
훈련하죠. 근데 이제 이야기하는 거 들어보니까 말씀하는데 해치가 1, 2, 3 바닥 3개. 그 우리는 그 훈련하는 거예요. 저 때리면은 철갑탄을 맞거나 이제처럼 저건 뭐 이제 보니까 아주 녹에 들어가는데 아내가 파괴하는데 저건 못 막을 것 같은데 그래도 최선의 방법은 그럼 너네 안에 죽어라 이렇게 말할 건 아니잖아. 우리 자기들이 살릴 방책은 없어. 그래서 최선으로 할 수 있는 게 뭐니까 해치리 열라. 해치리 그러니까 위에는 닫아. 위에는 닫고 운전 조종사도 입구 닫아 앞에 감시경으로 운전만 할 수 있게끔 돼 있어요. 왜? 반원자가 들어오니까. 근데 뭐만 열으니까 밑에 해치만 열어놔야 돼. 꽝 때리면은 진동이 그 밑으로 빠지라는 거야. 이것만 닫아놓으면 안에서 진동해서 피토하고 그냥 눈피 나오고 다 죽는 거예요. 4명 다. 그래서 이걸 여는 이 방책밖에 없어요. 두 번째는 북한 탱크들 능동 방어 기술 했다고 해서 날아오는 미사일도 요격한다고 뭐 했는데 이건 좀 별로 지켜봐야 될 일이고 할 수 있는 게 방위 그물. 그러니까 그물을 이렇게 짜가지고 걸었잖아요. 포탑이다. 근데 지금은 경사철갑. 이거 하나 이게 효과가 그리 있을지 그거는 너무 의문스럽고요. 승무원들이 우리가 너 죽지 않게 이렇게 노력하고 있다. 아니면은 겁을 먹지 말라 이런 차원에서나 해놨지 그게 실지 뭐 포알 막는다고 나는 생각하지 않아.
What other forces would you need to operate with in order to defend against this, right? If you're not, like, would it be infantry that would support you, or?
Of course, you work as like a large unit, so one platoon isn't just out doing its own thing, right? You're probably going to have multiple platoons in the company for starters, and then you're probably going to have some kind of contact for indirect fire yourself, and so it's probably going to be like larger artillery, and if you're very lucky, you're going to have like air support as well. And so in your brief about what the composition of enemy forces is, you're going to know like, okay, well, they've got indirect fire, they've got these tow missiles or javelins or whatever. And so you can sort of be prepared for that, know going in that they have this. And if you have good intelligence, if you have good intel, then you're going to know where they are.
Sure.
And so before it even becomes a danger for these vehicles, for these armored vehicles, your indirect fire is going to just take that out. Like you're just going to give them, if maybe you have to identify it or your scouts have to identify it or something, where they are, give them coordinates, send it back for the artillery. But then they're going to just take it out right away so that the tanks or the infantry, they can just like roll right through. The best strategy is just to have all this stuff taken out by air and an indirect fire.
Like artillery.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the ideal is, the tank doesn't even have to fire because everything is just taken out by field artillery.
As someone who's leading a tank, I'm curious, and this is for both of you.
Yeah.
What would be more intimidating, or what would you be more worried about? Would facing another M1 on the other side, or a team with a Javelin?
Ooh. I don't know. I might, I think I would be more afraid of the Javelin. Smaller target, and I mean, being able to identify them is going to be, I think, a lot harder just because it's just the smaller size, not quite sure where they are. If they just like are peeking up over a hill and they see us and they can identify and shoot at us, then like it's over. But a tank is big. Tank is big, and it's always harder attacking than defending. Defending, it's like, okay, you have your position set and dug out and everything, and you're just sort of like roll up a little bit, peek over the berm. Okay, there's no one there. We're just going to go right back down, right? And so, but even so, with a tank, it's like, okay, they always taught us you want the front of the tank facing forward because that's where the armor is strongest, is at the front. And so I know in the video, I talked about like, oh yeah, the Javelin's going to come down and hit you on the top, which is where it's weak. It's also weak in the back too. Like you really don't want to be like tail towards the enemy because that's going to end really badly for you. But the top is also weak, but the front is very strong and the sides are okay. But I mean, if I'm heading straight towards an M1, I'm not going to feel good about that, but I'm not going to be as worried as I would be, I think, against a Javelin.
뭐 옛날에는 뭐 몰랐을 때는 뭐 무조건 싸우면 우리 이긴다고 생각했는데 지금 보면은 그 진실을 모를 뿐이죠. 지금 생각해 보면 이래나 저래나 반전차 무기 봐도 그래, 전차끼리 부딪혀도 그래. 잽이한데 알고 나니까 진짜 위협적이에요. 운이 좋아야 돼.
So we'll move into the last one, which is the APF SDS.
The armor-piercing
Okay.
round.
All right.
Just an armor-piercing round.
So this is the Sabot round.
The rod, made of depleted uranium, has no explosives in its tip. Traveling at speeds of up to 3,500 miles per hour, it instead kills through sheer kinetic energy. It creates such force that it bores a hole through it. A spray of white-hot metal fragments explode into the target.
All right, I mean, we would never use a
Killing
Sabot
any
round
occupants.
against a car. that's just the first unrealistic part. We would use a different kind of round. We would use the 240 for a van.
Yeah.
Just annihilates.
Even when the 50 cal probably just ripped that up.
Oh, the 50 cal would rip right through that thing. Yeah. Yeah, we'd never use a Sabot round. A Sabot round on a van, you would get in so much trouble. Why would you waste that round on a car? Like, what's wrong with you? Shoot that thing with a 240 or at most the 50 cal.
Yeah. So, but I guess leading into that question, if you're facing an enemy tank, would the Sabot round be the first one that you're using?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely the strongest one. I mean, we saw in the video that this is like the material it's made out of. You can see that it sort of like breaks apart, and really it's super fast. It's also very strong. The other main round, it's called a heat round, and I know this one said there's no explosives in this round. It's just like the uranium,
Kinetic,
and
basically.
it's just like a very sharp. It's like a missile basically. The heat round is different. It is explosive, and so heat rounds will sort of like sense a little bit what's around them, and so it can be used for like lighter vehicles. I still wouldn't say like a van, but maybe like a personnel carrier. Helicopter definitely, because helicopters, I mean, they're in the air, like they're kind of hard to hit, and so if you can get proximity and the round explodes, I mean, you still might hit that helicopter, right? But for this, yeah, I mean, if it was a tank, Sabot all the way. It would, like, not even a question.
근데 이걸 이제 이야기 들으면서 이걸 어떻게 믿겠는지 모르겠는데 80년대 내가 북한군에 복무할 때 탱크 탈 때 그때 우리 철갑탄 이거라 그랬어요. 철갑탄이 20kg잖아요. 그 철갑탄이 18kg예요. 18kg인데 하면 800m 날아가서 이게 100개지거든요. 100개지고 요만한 철심이 날아가는데 뭐 녹에 들어가서 안에가 친다 그러더라고. 근데 그건 뭐 이야기고 근데 이런 정도 이제 에너지 운동량 5,700km 시속으로 난다는데 그 에너지 운동량 가지고도 다 옆에 소멸한다니까 이거 뭐 누가 맞겠어요? 이거는. 예. 나는 오늘이 진짜 어떤 생각 이제 딱 들으면 어떤 생각이냐면 물론 미군하고 탱크하고 뭐 부딪힐 일이 없겠지만 혹시 대한민국 나왔다가 주한미국 부딪힌다면은 나는 지휘관이라면 전술을 그렇게 하겠어요. 야, 은폐. 위장 철저해라. 항공 감시. 철저히. 위장 딱 숨어 있다가 미군 탱크 나타났을 때 가까이 접근시켰다 때리는 그 방법밖에 없어요. 속도. 우선 70km 속도야. 이게 미군 탱크. 북한 탱크 55km 속도에 속도 어떻게 보장합니까? 안 되잖아요. 그러면 무조건 직사거리 짧아. 안 돼. 뭐 되겠어요? 숨어 있다 가까이 온 거 때리는 것밖에 없어요. 그 다음 나머지는 투항해라. 탱크 놓고 가라. 네.
So does North Korea have any missiles or sorry, any, I guess, what would you call it, shells that have similar capacities to this?
저 자체가 뭐 북한이 있으면 벌써 이미 공개했겠지. 쟤들은 벌써 연구만 한 것도 우리가 이런 게 있다 공개하는데 저거 벌써 공개했겠지. 근데 물론 자기들이 공개할 게 있고 뭐 공개 못할 게 있지만 뭐 제가 장담하는데 뭐 글쎄 아주 장담하지 내가 뭐 국방위원장도 아니니까 장담하지는 않지만은 저 정도면은 손 놔야 돼요. 저거 장갑무력 저거 때리면은 예. 저건 뭐 아주 어마어마한 저 하나만 가지고도 무섭네 진짜.
So talking today, you guys have identified lots of similarities. I'm curious, you guys have had a lot of, what would you call it, not empathy, but like almost camaraderie. It's like, oh, I had that same experience. So what's one thing that you guys respect about each other after having talked today and then both being tank commanders?
그 식으로 말하면 적군 전차장이잖아요. 근데 이렇게 아주 하기애애하게 너 여기 때리면 내 죽어. 나 여기 좀 때려 이렇게 공유하는 건 아닌데 우선 첫째 싸움하는 방식 의식 수준이 생각하는 게 이제 좀 들어보니까 생각하는 수준이 우선 높아. 우리하고 틀려요. 우리는 북한은 너무 마구잡이야. 그래 그런 거고 기술적으로 봤을 때는 저희들이 적이라고 생각한 게 좀 의문스러워. 게임이 안 돼요. 예, 그래서 같은 전차장으로서 좀 존중하고 그리고 진짜 더 바람이 있다면 더 구경하고 싶지만 이만큼 본 것만 해도 충분히 미군 탱크에 대해서 이해가 가고 예, 그래요. 근데 뭐 북한하고 안 붙는다 해도 중동에 나가 붙거나 어디가 해외가 붙어도 미군 탱크 당하기는 좀 어려울 것 같다 이런 생각이 드네요.
I mean, for me, I think, I can't say for sure. I don't know exactly what he's thinking, but I mean, I was very surprised at how many similarities we shared in just our experience of riding around on a tank, whether it was in North Korea or for me in California or wherever else I might have been rolling around in Texas, whatever. But for me, it's that human factor, right? Because I mean, as somebody in the military, you're just taught, okay, like these are the friendlies and these are the enemies. And you don't really think about like the person. And now like sitting down here and hearing like, oh yeah, we had like the same experience on opposite sides of this conflict. It just sort of adds a new dimension of like, oh yeah, well, he's just a person. It just adds a new layer of depth to connections with other people who had the same job as you. I don't know. I just find it like so surprising that there were so many similarities despite perception differences between like the U.S. military and the North Korean military. I'm like, oh, well, I'm surprised that this was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was very surprising to me and fun to see each of your reactions to the others and see how similar it was. Thank you guys. This was super fun.
Yeah, no, this has been great.
네, 감사합니다.
진짜 많이 판.